The Jets have started off the 2020 NFL season with a disappointing 0-13 record, really looking on pace to join the 0-16 club. They also seem to be tanking for a once-in-a-generation type quarterback prospect out of Clemson, Trevor Lawrence, but something has changed in the past few weeks. Their former deemed bust of a first-round draft pick quarterback Sam Darnold has actually won 2 games in a row for the New York Jets against real playoff contending teams. So now the Jets have actually lost the number 1 overall pick that will go to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So now it looks like that the Jets are going to try to build around Sam Darnold. So today I'm going to be talking about the Jets' rebuild around Sam Darnold and the future ahead of them. What's up, everybody? It's AC Analysis, and today I'm going to be talking about the Jets' rebuild around Sam Darnold and how they've decided not to draft Trevor Lawrence with the number 1 overall pick. And there's not been more hype around a quarterback since maybe Andrew Luck in around 2012. So the Jets have clearly felt like that they are able to rebuild around Sam Darnold, and now he is the future of their team. After they beat the LA Rams and the Browns pretty well, who are both playoff contender teams. But before we get started, if you guys enjoy consistent football content like this, liking and subscribing would be really helpful. We're on the road to 100 subs, and every sub helps. And the shout out for today's video goes to Viking D22. He makes a cool variety of gaming content, and you guys should really check him out. And if you guys want to shout out to your channel, make sure to comment down below, and we can help all of our channels grow together. And now let's get right into the video. I want to first talk about how the Jets ended up going at an 0-13 record, and I think it really all comes back to their head coach and general manager that they hired, Adam Gase. And he was signed as the general manager and head coach on May 15th of 2019 in hopes of changing this franchise around. After their last season, they went 7-9. So they hope to get a playoff contending team, and Adam Gase was a supposed offensive guru that can really make this team one of the best teams in the league. But now it has not turned out that way. Gase decided to draft Sam Darnold in the first round of the 2019 NFL Draft, and it really didn't go well for him, because Sam Darnold didn't have any weapons around him, and they did not draft any wide receivers for the team, causing Sam Darnold to not be able to go play well, kind of like Dwayne Haskins in his situation, where he got nothing around him, he was forced into a bad situation, and was forced to play. Of course the Jets decided to sign Joe Flacco to give Sam Darnold something, but they don't have enough. Sam Darnold's been injured, causing the team to also lose some games pretty horribly. But I think that the most evidence of the team tanking was in their Week 13 game against the Raiders, in which they were winning the game with 3 seconds left in the game, but then their defensive coordinator at the time, Greg Williams, in the last play of the game, put out an all-out blitz, and Henry Ruggs ran past the cornerback for a touchdown, causing them to lose the game. This is when people thought that the Jets were tanking. But Greg Williams was fired right after that, and now the team is on a 2-game winning streak after the firing. After the firing of Greg Williams, the Jets decided to sign Frank Bush, their former linebackers coach, as the defensive coordinator. And so far in the past 2 weeks, he's really worked on the team, and he's really played like a charm. So against the Rams, one of the highest powered offenses in the league, he only let up 20 points, while against the Browns, with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, only let up 16 points. And these are pretty incredible stats for a team like the Jets, who had let up 40 points and 30 points and like an average of 20 points beforehand. So the Jets, by being able to sign him, shows how much of a difference Frank Bush is making and how far behind Greg Williams pushed them. Under offensive coordinator Dewell Loganes, in the past 2 weeks, Sam Darnold has not been playing absolutely spectacular. For example, against the Rams, he had 207 yards and 1 touchdown, and then against the Browns, he had 175 yards and 2 touchdowns. The main strength of this team is the defense, but currently the important thing is that he's not giving away takeaways. Currently in the season, even though he missed most of his games, he had 8 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. 3 of the touchdowns coming in the past 2 weeks, and 0 of the interceptions coming in the past 2 weeks, showing that he's really made improvements. The main strength of this team, though, is the defense. In the first round, they drafted Quinnen Williams, who is currently looking to be one of the best young rookie defensive linemen in the league, this season with 9.5 sacks and 2 forced fumbles with 1 fumble recovery. Currently, he's on IR and is out for probably the rest of the year, but the defense still has some really strong young safeties like Marcus May, and they really look to be ready to become one of the best blitzing defenses in the league. That's a bold statement, but that's what I'm saying. On the offensive side of the ball, the Jets currently are in the bottom 16 offensive linemen in the league, which is not good for a starting quarterback like Sam Darnold, who really needs help to grow and evolve to become a better player. But they do have one of the best left tackles in the league, in Mekhi Becton. The main problem with this team, though, is the wide receiver core. Darnold does not have anything to throw to. He has Jameson Carter, Brashad Perryman, and Denzel Mims, who I can really see as second or third string wide receivers on a team. Jamison Crowder is solid this season, playing all 16 games with 700 receiving yards and a few touchdowns, but he's not been playing #1 receiving good. While on the running back side of the ball, the Jets have Frank Gore, who's been playing really solid this year for a player who's as old as he is. Currently this season he's at 700 rushing yards, and he's at about 3 touchdowns and 16,000 rushing yards in his entire NFL career. But he's not the player that you want to have starting at running back, so they still need a running back. But this team currently is young and they look really poised to play well in the future. With the defensive side of the ball being the strength for the New York Jets, I believe that they will draft someone on the offensive side in the 2021 NFL Draft. And they can draft Trevor Lawrence since they won 2 games in a row, causing the 1-14 Jaguars to be able to draft the franchise-altering quarterback. But they still have a wide receiver or offensive lineman position in need. So I believe that they will draft with the #2 overall pick, Penei Sewell, who is currently an offensive tackle out of Oregon, and he seems to be one of the best prospects in the past few years, and his comparison to an NFL player is Laramie Tunsil. He's 6'5", 325 pounds, and looks to be a really great prospect. So now they can have Mekhi Becton as the left tackle, and then Penei Sewell as the right tackle, who can really help guard Sam Darnold and make sure that he is safe. Since every quarterback that needs to help and grow and become a lot better of a quarterback needs a strong offensive lineman around him, so he does not get hit every single play, kind of like Dwayne Haskins. In free agency, the Jets will obviously go after a wide receiver, and if there's any player that I believe will go to the Jets, it is Allen Robinson. And that is because currently the team that he's on, the Chicago Bears, are really filled up on cap space and don't really have space to have Allen Robinson. So in 2021, he will most likely leave after he signed his $42 million contract for 3 years with the team. And Robinson has been very, very great for the Chicago Bears. This season he has 1,213 yards and 6 touchdowns, while last season he had 1,200 yards. So the Chicago Bears, he's been one of the best receivers in the league. And this season he also just reached 100 catches. So he's the type of wide receiver that a player like Sam Darnold would want. He's not a deep threat that causes you to have to pinpoint the ball perfectly, but he's a guy that can really out-route run a cornerback and get open and catch the ball. He's going to be like a quarterback's best friend who will run slant routes, get those 10-15 yard gains. But another player that's somewhat like that I believe that they might sign is veteran T.Y. Hilton. He is really loyal to the Colts, but I think that if Allen Robinson does not sign, it's going to be T.Y. Hilton. But I do believe that there is a great chance that Allen Robinson will go to the Jets. But of course, a lot of other teams are going to chase after him too. The Jets' last game is against the New England Patriots, and for all we know, they could beat the Patriots and go 3-13, since honestly, they're not that strong of an offense, and I could see their defense absolutely plummeting the Patriots. But I do believe that the Jets will be rebuilding around Sam Darnold, and next season, if they play their cards right, I can really see them becoming 6-10 and 8-8 team, since they just did beat 2 playoff contending teams that are both 10-5. So a 2-14 team beat a 10-5 team twice in a row. So this team will rebuild around Sam Darnold, and if they do everything right, they'll become a really big threat in the league. Maybe not a playoff contending team, but next year they will become a threat. With that being said, Laura, with this video, this has been AC Analysis talking about the Jets rebuilding around Sam Darnold and how they will do later in the future. And if you guys enjoy videos like these, remember, liking and subscribing will be really helpful. We're on the road to 100 subs, and every sub helps. And if you guys want a shout out, make sure to comment down below. Thank you guys so much for reaching this point in the video. See you next time.